There you go. All right.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Smart with Your Money Live. I am Chase Peckham. I am the Director of Community Outreach and Education at the San Diego Financial Literacy Center, which, as we all know, is the financial education arm of DebtWave Credit Counseling. As always, I am joined by my esteemed colleague, Felipe Arevalo, and today we're going to talk about the Great Resignation. Yes, the Great Resignation. We are noticing that more and more people are leaving their jobs. They're leaving the workforce. If you walk around town, you'll notice that there are "we are hiring" signs pretty much everywhere, especially the restaurant industry. And there are many different reasons for that. So today we're going to talk about what are the considerations that we need to take before we leave that job, before we quit.
Right. And it was something where, as I was putting it together, I had a little moment where I was like, wait, why would someone quit their job if they don't have another one? And then it dawned on me, I did this in my early 20s. And then there was a second of confusion there where I was like, what was I thinking? I was driving to work. I realized that retail job was not what I wanted, and that was keeping me from being motivated to be a full-time job seeker at the time. I had a college degree, but I didn't want to do inventory at a bookstore. And it was something where I was driving to work. I heard a country song and I decided, all right, I'm doing my 2 weeks when I get in. And not the smartest thing, but I was single. I was living back with my parents and I had enough money saved to pay some minimum payments on your credit cards, which is not a good habit.
How old were you?
It was right before I started DebtWave. I was 24.
24. Okay.
Yeah. So but I was single and I didn't have any. I'd found out you can put your student loan on forgiveness or for deferral. So all of a sudden I was like, well, I don't have that payment. And it turned out all right. I went into full-time job seeking. I ended up here. So
look at you now.
Yeah, look at that. So it's something where I get it, but there are some things that I should have considered then that I didn't in my early 20s. I had a credit card that I just opened and I got some money in case this takes a long time. So the Great Resignation of 2021, hopefully that's not the approach people are taking these days. But 4.3 million workers left their job in August. And you can find this all over the internet. But this happens to be from a CNBC article. And the two biggest industries, it may not surprise anyone, where people are leaving their job the most often is the food industry and the retail industry. And Chase mentioned those places are hiring. There's probably a correlation there with people quitting and then, them not being able to find enough people to work. So that's over 30% of the people who quit in August were in the food industry and the retail industry. That has a lot to do with lots of different factors.
There's lots of different factors in there. Yeah. And that's not really what today is about. We can get into that more when we have really a lot of time for it, like in our podcast and Talk Wealth to Me, which we will cover the reasons why people are doing these things. But for the most part, we know that the pandemic really was the start of this. And we saw it in the way that people worked from home, the way we looked at our lives, what we wanted out of our lives. There's so many different factors, but the reality of the situation is you still have to pay bills. There are still things that we have to do to survive through and eat and sleep and all those things.
So what could you, if you've decided that is, it's time to resign, what should you consider beforehand? Let's get started. First, if you're part of a family unit, talk it over with your family. You don't want to show up to your spouse or, even if it's just, your roommates with your siblings or, boyfriend, girlfriend, whoever it is. If you're part of a family unit, if your finances are intertwined with another person's, talk it over with them. You don't want to show up and say, hey, by the way, love, I quit my job for 2 weeks and I'm done. not a good approach generally to make big financial decisions in general without talking it over with family first.
And even if you're single, communication, but just to get somebody else's perspective on something, build the list of the pros and the cons of your position, what you're looking for, all those things. It's good to be able to talk with somebody instead of making just rash decisions, especially if you have, debts that you need to pay off and you have rents and you have all those things. So there's so many factors to look into it.
Yeah, it's something where you should have seen my mom's reaction when I told her back in my 20s. Oh, Mom, by the way,
she's like, "You're never gonna leave home."
Exactly. Like, I just quit my job, Mom. It was not a good reaction, which is what I could see myself reacting to as a parent if my kid walked up to me and said that. I understand it now. So talk it over with family. Bert, what's your plan? Are you looking to switch employment? Are you looking to switch industries? Are you looking to start your own economy, take on this gig economy, move somewhere else? What is your plan going forward? And really take some time to plan it out. Don't sit there at a stoplight and go, okay, well, there's my plan. Here we go.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing you don't want to do is be sitting listening to a country music station, hear a song, and say, "Okay, I'm putting in my 2 weeks."
Sounds good to me, right? And in my early 20s, it was. And then afterwards,
just threw you under the bus, didn't I?
Yeah, I did. It was okay. But it's something, and I went afterwards and I sat. I went to like a lake and I just sat by the water. And I was like, "What did I just do?"
You contemplated life.
I contemplated afterwards. What did I just do? And I was like, you better get working, and you better start, like, this better be 8 hours a day of job searching, because you just quit your job. It turned out all right though. So, what's your plan going forward? And, what's your income and savings? Do you have savings? Hopefully you have savings put away to cover those expenses, and income. You might be sitting there thinking, well, no, you're quitting your job, you don't have income. But if you have a joint financial situation with a spouse, they may still have, hopefully, their income. And is it something where their income can kind of hold you over while you do your transition to whatever it is you're transitioning to?
Yeah, it kind of comes back into that emergency fund. If you have that 3 to 6 months, which every financial professional will tell you, if you can set aside 3 to 6 months of your income, you can make those decisions. You can look for the right fit for you.
Right. Having that savings is going to be a big, cushion to allow you more flexibility that goes along with it.
Right.
And then what are your expenses and what can you cut out? Because if you're leaving your job and you're leaving your income, whatever the income is, whether it's a lot or a little, you have less of it now. So what expenses are there? And what expenses can you say, what, you did this thing, I need to cut back on. Maybe you don't need the Netflix, Hulu, Spotify Premium, Amazon Prime, all those streaming services. Maybe you can cancel your cable. You can, stop eating out while you find a new thing. Whatever it is, what are your expenses and what can you reasonably cut out to stretch out your money, to give yourself more time to transition to whatever it is that you're looking to do? And then what is your debt? Having debt is such a financial burden on so many things when it comes to personal finance.
It's the weights on the shoulders that never goes away.
Right. And this is no different. If you have debt that you're responsible to pay back, it makes it harder for you to say, you know what, I'm resigning, I'm transitioning to do this other thing, because you still have to make those payments.
Right.
You still have to, you don't want to fall behind. You don't want to, have your accounts go delinquent. You don't want to have cars repossessed, or you have a mortgage. You really don't want to mess with that.
That's a long-term effect.
Right.
It's going to damage things for quite a while. So those are things that you need to take into consideration.
Yeah. If you resign and you can't afford to make your payments, that could affect you years and years down the road, even after you find that next great thing that you're trying to do. So, take a good look at your debt. What are your debt obligations? What options do you have? If you have student loans, maybe you maybe you can postpone those payments, and your creditor in that case, if they're federal student loans, might be able to work with you. Other lenders, your credit card companies, your car companies, things of that nature, not going to be so quick to say, that's okay, take a few months off and pay me back when you have a chance. What are your debts? Who do you owe them to? And if you don't have debts, that gives you more flexibility.
Absolutely.
In my case, I had tons of debt, and I had a new credit card with available credit limit.
Hence your mom thinking you were never leaving the nest.
Exactly. And it was something where it's like, you did what? And you just got another. I didn't do it the right way, but there was a lot of things in personal finances I didn't do the right way. So it's no surprise that this is one of them. So it's something where, what does your debt profile look like? If there's no debt there, what could it look like if this loss of income extends past your?
Yeah, it goes back to that when we first opened. What is your plan? I mean, do you have the budget? Do you have the savings? Do you have a plan to take care of all these things while you're looking for your whatever you're looking for?
Right. And it's something where maybe you avoid debt by doing something as you transition, selling stuff,
Side hustle.
the side hustles, these gig economies. Or is there something you have, a skill that you can kind of put into play, teach piano lessons, teach guitar, tutor kids, draw and sell art, whatever it is,
Which may end up being your calling.
It might be. You might end up starting an Etsy and making it that way. In each individual situation is going to be different. I couldn't sell any kind of art because I can't even get my kids to take my art. So it's something where, my kid asked me, "Can you draw this?" I was like, "No, you really need to go ask mom because I cannot draw that." So what does your debt look like? Don't touch your retirement.
No.
It's so tempting because you might be, especially if you've been working for a while and you've been contributing to that retirement, you could look over and be like, well, I do have money. I do have savings. That is not that kind of savings, and it's not that kind of money. That money is intended for your retirement.
Do not touch that.
And if you take it out now, first, you're hurting your financials in the future, but just that initial blow, you could be losing 30% in fees and taxes once it's all said and done.
How much time it took you to put it in there and it's gone like that.
And you lose all that growth opportunity, and you lose all that, that should not be the plan, ideally.
100%.
That should be there for retirement. You don't want to reach in there. There's just there's tax implications, and there's all kinds of things.
There are reasons that you can touch retirement. Quitting your job and just needing to live on that is not
right.
One that you should take.
Right. Down payment for a house. Yeah, maybe, if the situation's there. So have it be something where that's not what you want to do. And then what benefits can you use before you leave? Is there something, maybe you have vision right now and you need a new pair of glasses. Maybe you have some dental work and you have dental right now and you can go get that done. What benefits do you have available now? Maybe you go get your physical, or whatever it is. You go, I don't know, take care of some medical thing that you've been putting off, or get a 3-month subscription to whatever medicines you take. What benefits can you take advantage of before you quit your job? And that's going to vary. There may not be any.
I was going to say, that's why many probably are leaving and are looking for something else.
Right. So it's something where, plan it out. And it's funny, as I was doing the gifts, I'm really surprised I didn't have a Jerry Maguire gift. Because that's not the way you want to do it either. Like, who will come with me? Okay, yeah, let's go. No, that was not well planned out. Healthcare.
Stay away from the mission statement.
Yeah. Healthcare costs. What is the healthcare cost? And I was also surprised I didn't have an office one. Michael Scott starting his own paper company. how much do you really pay in health insurance? How much is it going to cost you to go either with Cobra or a private health insurance? Can you afford to go without it? That's dangerous. And then if you have any kind of medication that you take on a regular basis, you might end up paying more for your regular whatever medicine you take. So healthcare costs, how much will it cost for you to cover yourself in the meantime? It's the same thing as if you're going to just like, oh, I'm going to start my own business or I'm going to do my own side hustle. What kind of health insurance are you looking at? How much is that going to cost you? And then take that into account before you go quitting. And then get ready for your job search. Don't quit and then start getting ready. Get ready first. And if you're going to quit, get ready first. Get ready while you're working. Update your resume. Make sure you practice your interview. Make sure you start job searching. You don't want to say like, oh, I want to be a mechanical engineer and I'm going to quit here and then realize there aren't even any mechanical engineer jobs in San Diego. So oops, I messed that up. I don't know anything about mechanical engineering. So there might be tons of them. But
are you qualified for that profession? Do you need to go to school? Do you need, there's all kinds of things.
What trainings might you need? Certificates, certifications,
experience.
You can't just go, hey, I took a bio class, I'd like to work in your lab. It's something where I was a bio major for a semester. Get ready for your job search. Trainings, degrees, certifications, resumes, job search.
Again, skills. Back to the plan. Is it all part of the plan?
Back to the plan, right? And it's something where ideally this is a well thought out thing and it's not on an impulse. So
I think a lot of it is impulse. I think a lot of it is like they just want a different life. They want to see things differently. They don't want to be stuck in the same thing. And that's totally understandable.
Yeah.
And I feel for the people that are running the businesses too. I mean, it's difficult. You're trying to run a business and you need the help.
Yeah. And then they have to limit hours, which then makes it harder for them to hire more people, makes them harder to pay people. It's a circle.
It's a conundrum.
Yeah.
But, we hope that people find what they're looking for because, it is, look at what we do for a living. We love it. We get to help people. We get to work with individuals to help better their lives. And so we get fulfillment out of what we do. And there's a lot to be said for that. That's what you want to do, is be able to feel like getting up to work, to go to work every day is something that you like and love to do and are passionate about. And if, every person should go and do their best to find that. It's important.
Yeah. Just plan it out first.
Yeah.
I keep going back to that. Like,
that is a fact.
Who did that? And I was like, oh, you did. Continue learning. Check out our podcast, Talk Wealth to Me, wherever you get your podcast. Our most recent episode is on Squid Games. You could probably find one on this shortly. We do have a question.
There is a question. Yep. And the question is, how much should I save? We said that a little bit earlier, but we'll say it again, is 3 to 6 months of it should be a goal. And that should be a goal, period. Not just because you're looking for another job, but you should try to establish a savings of 3 to 6 months of your family household income. So if something happens where, let's say you lose a job, that you're not just leaving on your own, that should be something that you should, or you get sick or something like that. That's something that you should work towards. Yeah. 3 to 6 months of your income that you're bringing in now. So if you have to take 2, 3, 4, 5 months off, you can sustain the lifestyle that you have created for yourself.
Yeah. And if you're starting a business, just know that businesses don't just pop up and become profitable overnight.
No.
You really want to make sure that you're prepared for the long run.
Business plan needs to be written.
It's unfortunate when you go around town and you see a business pop up and then it disappears a couple months later, or 3 months later or something, and they may have figured out it's expensive and it'll drain your money at first. Potentially, unless you go viral and you have some like great luck. But for the most part, you're not going to be profitable right off the bat.
Definitely not. It
So-
usually takes a year, 2, 3 to get to be a profitable status. So having that, I mean, that's pretty cookie cutter, but that's important, especially depending on what the industry you're in is. But you need to have a 1, 2, 3 year plan, and that's what business plans are for.
Yeah. So you have our podcast if you'd like to continue learning, and then join us next time for Afterpay and fast fashion. Afterpay is a big deal. You know, layaway is not a thing at Walmart anymore. It's Afterpay. So, you know, it can affect, and maybe, you know, how does that affect? And
I'm going to miss you for this one. I'm going to miss everybody.
I was thinking like fashion. I might have to like dress up for fashion.
Yeah, I know. I'm sad. It'll be the first one that I've missed, but I will be up at City of Hope up in the LA area. So,
Yeah. So
I'll be watching. I'll try to watch.
Oh, there you go. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for stopping by, and hope you can join us next time.